Thank you. This opportunity that my party has given me to participate on behalf of my state in the discussion for the budget of Manipur as well as the supplementary grants for 2024-25. At the outset, I would like to say when I first stepped into this hall of democracy, I swore an oath that I would bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as per law established. This is the same note that I used. Today I would like to point out to this august house that the state of Manipur has one law that is enshrined in this constitution. One law, one article. This is Article 371C. I will read this out. Notwithstanding anything in this constitution, the state of Manipur provide the President may, by order made with respect to the state of Manipur, provide for the constitution and functions of a committee of the Legislative Assembly of the state, consisting of members of that state, assembly elected from the hill areas of that state, and for the modifications to be made in the rules of business of the government and in the rules of procedure of the Legislative Assembly of the state, and for any special responsibility of the governor in order to secure the proper functioning of such committee. That is the constitutional provision, sir. As per that, on the 20th of June, 1972, a presidential proclamation by none other than the president of this nation, President V.V. Giri, issued a notification. This notification is very clear, sir. Again, there are many paragraphs, many schedules. Out of that, I would like to quote what is relevant to the budget. Before any 5-year plans or annual plans of the state are finalized by the government of the state, proposals in this behalf which shall show separately the plan schemes proposed to be taken up in the hill areas and the rest of the state shall be placed before the committee, and the views of the committee shall be taken into account before the plans are finalized. Mr. Chair, sir, I have believed in this nation, in the Constitution. I am very certain that this House too believes in that. We have already bypassed the Constitution. When you, in the budget, this is the budget, it is in the members' portal. I've had it printed out. For the first time, I am seeing 8 different forms of, presentations. Normally, I have been in the state legislature, that is why I'm saying. This is the second budget session that I'm participating in this parliament. Chairman, sir, it is a very simple document. Demand for grants, for discussion. Why have you made it so complicated? What does the law of this nation say? It is very clear. So that disproportionate assets are not created between the hills and the valley. Hills, 95% or 98% are occupied by the tribals in Manipur. Speaker, sir, Chair, sir, when disproportionately assets are created, problems have to occur. It is my duty to bring forth before this august house if there are any anomalies, so that going forth the paths will be straightened out. Mr. Chair, sir, in the fall of 2021, which is somewhere around from August to October, we have had the privilege of calling on the Honorable President, who was Mr. Ramnath Kovind, the Honorable Home Minister, who was then also Mr. Amit Shah, the Law Minister of the nation, who is the Parliamentary Affairs Minister today, and on behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister, we met Mr. G. Kishan Reddy ji. We placed before them the problems that are being faced in the state of Manipur with regard to administration of the hills. I was very, very certain as part of that delegation, it was a full delegation of the Hill Areas Committee. When we met all our esteemed leaders of this nation, we were assured that all our grievances would be looked into. I never, ever in my life felt that though the state of Manipur may have made it a nominal provision, I never expected that the Union of India today, when we are at a position or in a position to ensure that the legislation of business with regard to the budget of Manipur is clearly as by law established. We have not yet adhered to that, Mr. Chair, sir. When you go into the budget, I have already chaired 6 meetings in the district level Disha committees. The marginalized and the poor of our nation, so is also my constituency, Mr. Chair, sir. They survive on Narega. You know the status of Narega today. These are reports from the district collectors in the Disha meetings from all departments. 2023-24 Narega ka material component 50% has not been released. 24-25 nothing has been released. And the man-days that are being given there are 25 man-days in a year. The budget, there is no increase this time from the union again. We are passing this budget, there is no increase.
It's a demand-driven scheme.
Sir, I agree. I know of this scheme, sir.
So state
they are being given a target because state matching share if the state does not give. When you are not releasing material component for 2023-24, how do you expect those poverty-stricken, marginalized people to create more? How are they going to work more? If this is a committed liability scheme, you are committed to pay. But when the union government does not even clear 23-24,
clear-cut ratio 60-40 labor component.
But that is why I am saying, I know the facts, I know the figures, and I am very clear in this, Mr. Chair, sir. You have not released. There is an injustice to the state, and you are not even increasing that you will clear off the dues. 2 years cut dues is not yet clear. When you talk of your National Social Assistance Program, what is the status today? Last payment was made in the month of March 2023. March. National Old Age Scheme, Pension Scheme, you talk of the widow pension scheme. All those schemes are way back in 2023 last released. 2 years. What are those schemes for then? When the most marginalized are left out to hang dry. I have not seen the budget reflected that they will pay off. I have not seen. Nothing is given here. You talk of all of the centrally sponsored schemes. You go scheme by scheme, program by program, and you'll understand that it is the same replica of what has been happening always. Mr. Chair, sir, the nation needs to grow. Manipur is the lowest per capita income generating state in the nation. In the nation, I repeat. Why is this? Why is this that the Niti Aayog, or be it the Planning Commission at one point in time, or the state government, today the central government, why is it that you have not made sure that course corrections have been made so that we also increase our GSDP? You are not focusing in the core areas. Agriculture budget, there is no increase. Horticulture, there is no increase. The hills are redundant today. There is no income. 90% of the state of Manipur is hills. Lush green hills. We are an agrarian society which survives, and we have been adapting to change because our forefathers have taught us what it is to survive through agriculture. There is no scope for growth. Where do we sustain? Depending on Narega. And Narega, that also you don't even release. Central government not releasing, state government not formulating the actual plans that will be required for inclusive growth. You go into the figures, it's a dismal figure, sir. I today want to challenge the Honorable Finance Minister. So also the Transport Minister. I would like him to come and see, forget about Mumbai-Delhi highway, where you can spend 50,000 crores. I have no problem. It is my nation. We have to grow. Come to my constituency, which is about 20,000 square kilometers. I will show him the sort of roads that his ministry is making. And you will say that these are the roads that you're providing, citizens of this nation. Are you actually serious? That budgets are being provided? This time when I had spoken to NHADCL officials in the Disha committee meeting, what did they say? They said that work orders are issued before land is acquired. But before land acquisition process is completed, you start issuing work orders. Are we a society that is built for contractual basis, or is it for a delivery, a chain of delivery for the common man? Today there is no delivery. There is nothing. Look, talk of your JJM scheme. I'm sure the Honorable Finance Minister will come back later and say, JJM bhi ye kiya hai, PMGSY ye kiya hai, PMJVK ye kiya hai. You're going to say many things that you have done, and I will refute each one. I know I will not get a chance to rebut the Honorable Finance Minister, but I am preempting her reply. And I will say very clearly today that every single thing that she says today is only on paper, and I challenge this House, the sanctity of this House, without damaging its integrity. I speak very clearly out of a clean conscience that building this nation includes the building of Manipur. If you do not want to build my state, then you have no right to govern it. What has happened to my state today? Who is responsible for this? I know you have imposed president's rule today. What has happened to the man who was running the show for nearly 2 years? Is he behind bars? The least I expected was for an inquiry to be initiated, because the whole world knows he is on tape speaking that he initiated this entire crime. Is it not shameful that the head of an executive of a state can execute such a gruesome crime and yet remain unscathed? I did not expect this, Mr. Chair, sir. I have had more faith and hope in my Prime Minister and my Home Minister. Today, it is diminishing by the day. There is still time, and my conscience is clear. Believing in a law that is enshrined in our Constitution, believing in a nation that goes by the rules of law, not by appeasement, you don't have a right to bring in legislation whenever you choose if it is not for the people. Today, this budget that I speak of is anti-people in Manipur. Why? Because you talk of the 60,000 that have been displaced today. All of their homes ravaged, burnt, broken, damaged, they're all displaced. There is no reflection in the budget for those displaced. The damage I hear, which was done by separate entities, has crossed 20,000 crore. I do not see anything of that sort. The entire budget is not even worth that. Mr. Chairman, sir, maybe my state is a small state, but we are not a small people. We are also equal in every way to this nation. I would implore upon the conscience of this House again, my rising to speak again and again, if it is not making sense to this august House. Give me the privilege and opinion and the opportunity to relinquish my seat and not come back here again. Coming here and speaking again and again and not being heard and not being executed at ground level. Do you know how painful that is to go back home to an empty home, to people in the streets who don't have any place to go to? And today you bring in a budget that does not address a single part of those affected today.
Shame. 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 Shame.
I wonder, my blame was solely on one person in the state. I had concentrated everything there. I had hoped for more from the leadership of my nation. I still hope on more from the leadership of my nation. Mr. Chair, sir, before I close, this constitution is sacred to each member here in this august House. I need not remind anybody. I have quoted the rule of law. It is a point of order that cannot be bypassed. The budget has to clearly say, this is a notification of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Today the state is being run by the Ministry of Home Affairs. I am closing, Mr. Chair, sir. The Hill Valley section separation is mandatory. There is no separation of that. How would we know which is going to hills, which is going to valley? Nobody would know anything. And for that reason, I would request the Honorable Finance Minister to put this off, bring in the actual budget and the demands for grants so that we can go into the discussion of what is going into the hills and into the valley and a little bit of the pain and hardships that the state is going through. I wish and I hope and I pray that this House together we can solve. Thank you, Mr. Chair, sir. Thank you for giving me time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alfred Arthur. Sri Sasank Mani Tripathi ji.
प्रणाम देवरिया अध्यक्ष महोदय, बहुत बहुत आभार कि आपने इस महत्वपूर्ण विषय पे मुझे बोलने का मौका दिया है। मैं आज इस सदन में आदरणीय निर्मला जी द्वारा कल प्रस्तुत किए गए 2024-25 के दूसरे अतिरिक्त अनुदान की मांग पर समर्थन के लिए खड़ा हूं। इसमें 6,80,00,000 करोड़ रुपए की मांग की गई है, जो 52 अनुदान और 3 आवंटन में विभाजित हैं। इसमें से शुद्ध नकद बहिर्वाह